Yay? Okay. Hi guys. Our wheels. I'm on the electric wheel, or the kick wheel. You're gonna do electric wheel. When you sign up to do the wheels, you're gonna do like 2 days in one day or 2 days in one day. I want you to experience both. I wanted to demonstrate on this one because I think it's a little bit more organic. I think it's easier for you guys when you're starting. Some people are like, why? Electric, you know, it's electric. But you're going to kick with your foot, and I mean, these things have been around for centuries. This is what the guys used to do them on, like, before electricity was invented. They would do these all day long. Yeah, you get a little bit more tired, but you get less out of control. You're more, like, in sync with what's going on. As it's spinning, it's going to slow down gradually. When you're on the electric wheel, if you accidentally tap it, it could go, like, faster, and, like, I've messed up that way. Just little things, but it is kind of nicer once you get the hang of it. You know, the electric wheel is like kind of smooth too. So anyway, I want you to experience both. When you're on this wheel, you're going to start kicking with your right foot going away from your body so it rotates counterclockwise, so that when you do switch over to the electric wheel, those ones are all going counterclockwise. So that's the way the wheel goes. I need to rewind and tell you guys, you don't want things hanging from your pocket. You want to tie your apron strings. You don't want, if you're a guy that works basketball, bow ties or lanyards or like even sweatshirt strings. You don't want to have any of jewelry or bracelets. You want your hair back in a ponytail because you don't want to get caught in here. This is a guard for your clothes. So when you put it on, it's going to slide up over those little supports and then into these little supports. You'll know it's on properly if it doesn't make a terrible noise. So it should go smoothly. At the end, you'll have to take this off and clean it with all of your other stuff. So you're going to start off with, also, when you're on the kick wheels, this black board fits this one. On the electric wheels, it's a brown board and the holes are on the underside. You want to make sure it fits on properly because one way it jiggles and the other way it's more secure. Because you don't want this to be jiggling around. It goes on those little posts. So make sure it doesn't jiggle. This wheel, there is no post, so you're just going to work directly on the wheel and you'll take your project off. So, anyway, we're going to start by wedging our 1 to 1.5 pieces of clay. I mean, we're just starting, so you don't need a whole bunch, but you want enough to fill your hands. We don't want to work with something miniature. Wedging it together, and then you guys, I'll give you my disclaimer. This isn't my, like, best area. Like, I'm alright at it. I can make, like, a decent little pot, but I've never been great at it. I can give you guys a decent demonstration, but some of you guys might even be better than me. Probably some of you will be. So, on the other hand, some of you guys won't be great at it, and some of you will struggle. Please don't expect to make something the first day. If you just like enjoy it and like kind of get the feeling of it, be happy with that. And then if you do make something, then even better, right? So you'll be on them for 3 days, wedging our thing together. Okay, and so when you watch the video of that guy, he's a professional. He's gonna make it look super easy. I might make it look a little bit easy, but I might make mistakes. I don't think you're supposed to slam the clay on the wheel. I'm pretty sure I've been told not to do that. I do it anyway because it has to be stuck. If it's not stuck and it slides around, you have to restart. I had to restart last period. So trying to slam it as close to the center as possible. Trying to start off with like a nice ball. It feels like it's stuck. Anyway, so starting our rotations. Oh yeah, I'm going to go over your tools first. You're going to have a sponge. I fill my bucket with warm water. It feels better about halfway. You got to keep this in your hands. A wood tool for scraping, a needle tool, and another wood tool for scraping at the end. You'll also have a clay cutter with fishing line. This one you may need if you do a foot on your thing on day 2. So, okay. Our first objective is to get this centered. We're going to wet it. We're going to use our arms and hands and brace. Like I'm putting my feet on like the sides, not on the part that's spinning, obviously. Bring my body close, and I'm going to brace my knees against this, brace my elbows against my legs or my body, and then to add stability and support. So against your elbow. And that's the noise I was talking about. It's not on properly. There we go. So I'm going to put like slight pressure at first. This hand's going to come in and this hand's going to come down, and then gradually I'm going to give it more firm pressure to keep it centered. So you're going to see my hands wobbling now. Eventually we want our hands to be perfectly steady. So they're getting more steady, yeah? And the wheel's slowing and it's getting sticky. So I'm going to take my hands off, add some more water so it's not sticky. And applying gentle but firm pressure. So see the bottom fingers on my left hand closest to you, they're getting more steady. That's exactly what we want when we start. And then anytime you pull your hands off, just like pull them away slowly. If you pull them away really fast, it might leave a mark. And by pulling them away slowly, it allows the clay to go around like one entire rotation. Does that make sense? Okay, not bad. So the next I'm going to tell you, when you watch the guy on the video, he's going to like pull it up into a cone and smush it down and pull it up and smush it down. And I don't remember that step, or maybe I always skipped it, so it's not necessary, I guess. And then our clay is probably a little bit different than his clay too. His might be a little bit more pliable, I guess that's the word. So I'm going to start by trimming the edges to make it look a little bit more symmetrical right here. Anytime you're trimming, you're going to hold your tool at 4 o'clock. Like this is the clock, this is 12, this is 6, this is 3, this is 9. Holding your tool at 4 o'clock, both hands stable against each other and on the edge. And you're just going to point your tool at the clay before you push it down. When you push it down, you're not going to stab it in, you're going to push it down like really slowly. And then it hits the bottom, and then I just switch positions, put the flat side down, and scrape that off. Sometimes it doesn't come off easily, you gotta stop your wheel. That time it did. Scrape off a little bit more. This way, it's just a little bit more visually centered for me. Now, centering is hard, you guys. It worked easy this time for me. Sometimes it's not that easy. If you get your pot close to centered, you can still make one. And sometimes your walls are like thick on one side and thin on one side, and that's fine for the beginning. But ideally, we want to have it perfectly centered. And it looks good enough for me right now, so I think I'm just going to move on. And it feels pretty centered right now. Hopefully, when you guys start, I'll be able to come over here and help you get it centered. Put my hands on top of your hands and make sure it's like a solid, good feeling. Okay, so next, making like a little indentation to start our pot. Everybody does it different. I think I've been told thumb or fingers or whatever feels comfortable for you. So I'm still going to keep this hand on the outside, and I'm going to start with my thumb, pressing down. I'll switch to my fingers. And I'm feeling like it's getting off-centered, so I have to stabilize. It's getting slow and sticky, so we're going to add more water.
I can start reading that.
And then we're going to push our thumb down to where we have a decently thick bottom. You don't want it to be too thin because you don't want your bottom to go all the way through. And the only time I'm going to stop this wheel, other than if I mess up, is the one time to check the bottom thickness, and I'll show you that in a second. So when you're working on the wheel, your wheel should always be spinning around. You're never supposed to be working on it while you're stopped. So right now, it feels like I have a decent sized thickness to my bottom. And I'm going to clean it up first. And if you ever get too much water inside, you're going to wring out your sponge. Oh, sorry, Jaden. You got sprayed. And you're going to suck the water. Luckily, I can't see it.
It's alright, I mean splashed in.
Huh?
It's alright, I mean splashed in.
I got splashed yesterday by my son splashing in the mud puddles with his rain boots all over my clothes. Okay, so you're going to stop the wheel. Poke the needle straight down in the middle until it hits the board. Put your finger against the clay, and then you'll see how thick your bottom is. And that seems like a good thickness for me. I mean, you don't want it like huge, but you don't want it paper thin. So I'm not going to go down anymore. Now I'm going to bring it out and then start to bring up my walls. So I'm going to do this trimming again, because for my brain, it looks better when it's visually like even in the middle. And it feels better too. You'll be able to feel the bottom with your fingers. Okay, so I'm going to bring, okay, again, we're working at 4 o'clock, and we're going to bring our pointers together and then up, essentially. We're going to do this about 3 or 4 times, and we're going to take like 3 or 4 passes, maybe 5. So each time, you're going to bring them together like gently at first, and you're going to barely even see it come up. Then the next time, maybe a little bit more aggressively, and you'll see it come up more. And then the last couple times is just for like making it, you know, even all the way around. So hopefully it'll work. So I'm going to bring the inside finger out. Just a little bit, not a whole bunch at first. And then I'm going to start to bring them up. And then usually, sometimes there's a little nipple inside. I try to fix that nipple now because you won't be able to fix it later. So I'm just feeling to make sure the inside middle is like pressed down. Usually when I'm bringing it up, my outside finger is slightly lower than my inside finger. When I pull it up, sometimes they're even. Just be mindful of that, I guess. So squeezing them together and pulling up so slowly that you shouldn't even really be able to see my fingers moving, kind of like a record player. Like it goes that slow. And then sometimes when I do it, there's like a little extra gunk of clay. You'll see it by my outside hand. Sometimes that comes off, sometimes it doesn't. Right now it's gonna come off. Or I have to start trimming. Okay, so I don't know why it does that. That's just how I do it. Put my needle tool in. Actually, I'm gonna stop it. So sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. At least you guys get to see a little bit of a mess up. And then we trim it off and keep going. So, trimming. Same thing, 4 o'clock. You're gonna hold both hands stable. Needle tool is gonna point towards your clay where you wanna start cutting it. You're gonna go to the lowest possible spot, and you're not even gonna touch your clay. You're just aiming and pointing. And then once you find your spot and you feel stable, you're gonna gradually move your needle tool in to where it's touching the clay. You can see the line, yeah? And then you're pushing in a little bit more, and then until the needle's all the way in, and then it cuts it off. And sometimes it doesn't come off easily, sometimes you have to stop the wheel and get your little piece off. So now we're gonna keep going. And then if you have too much water, you can wring out your sponge, push it in there, get that excess water out. Okay. So it's kind of like a slow process. You're not getting this done like super lightning speed. I mean, as you get better, yeah, you can make them really fast. So pulling up, my hands are braced together, my hands are braced against my body. And then if you ever feel it wobbling, like I feel myself wobbling a little bit right now, that means it's not centered. And then you just pull away like gradually, like reassess the situation, maybe stop the wheel. You never just want to keep going. If it starts wobbling, if you keep going, most likely it's going to get wrecked. And that's happened to me a whole bunch of times. Okay, I'm going to trim my bottom off again. It's getting funky down there. Trim my tool, flat side, even like this. Now, is this proper, like, how I'm doing it? I don't know. It works. Find what works for you, right? It's been probably close to 20 years since I've had like a real class, and I've been doing my own way ever since. So I'm going to trim off my top again and make it even before I pull up anymore, because that's kind of funky right there. Okay. And you guys can see it coming up a little bit more. My walls on the bottom are pretty thick, and towards the top they're a decent size. So I'm trying to make my bottom a little bit thinner and then like bring it up. So maybe 1 or 2 more times and we should be good. Oh, my nipple's starting in the middle again. And then sometimes it just has like a nice pretty spiral in the middle. And then it should be kind of relaxing for you at some point, like kind of like zen, like get into it, relax, feel it, yeah. So far so good, yeah? Okay. Sorry guys, I feel bad making you sit there watch this, but you don't care, right? Okay, thanks. I feel like I'm having fun. Okay. What's that?
It's like hypnotizing the body.
Yeah, isn't it? And that's why I'm seeing that whole thing the whole time, and you kind of get like zoned out and a little bit like, yeah, it's peaceful, it's relaxing. Are you? But that's all right. Enjoy it. And then when you're on the wheel, enjoy it too. Or like if it's a day where you're like late and it was supposed to be your turn, just sit and watch whoever's. Okay, I need to remember. You need to still remind yourself to brace your fingers, not get too cocky, not get too comfortable. You still have to focus completely. Yeah. So see how this top edge is wobbly? I think I'm gonna stop myself now, we'll call it good. And I wanna talk to you about doing your bottom. I'm not requiring you guys to do a bottom, only if you really wanna try, if you feel like you're just that good and you wanna make a nice bottom. If you wanna make a bottom, the top has to be level, and I'll level it in a second, and I'm gonna show you the difference. This pot doesn't have a bottom on it. You just pull it straight off with the clay cutter and it's flat bottom, and that's fine with me. We're just learning. If you feel like you're getting better and you want to make a nice foot on the bottom, this is how the wheel pots are supposed to look. See that foot right there? That would happen on day 2 or 3. When this clay is like leather hard, flip it upside down, and you're gonna take fresh clay and you're gonna center it, and you're going to take a tool and you're gonna scrape out this inside edge and scrape out around here, which leaves like a pretty nice border for your glazing. And you could even glaze up in here if you wanted to. So foot's not required, but that's, if you wanted to do a foot, I'll show you, we have to level off our top. It can't be crooked. Sometimes you make a pot and you're like, ooh, this looks cool crooked, I wanna leave it crooked. And I don't know.
It looks kind of cool crooked.
I like it crooked. Yeah? But I still feel like I should show you how to level off the top. It's,
That one.
I know, you can see that one. It's just the same thing that you guys saw before, sticking the needle in and making it flat. Should I leave it crooked?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, we'll leave it crooked. Okay, so here's another thing I want to tell you guys. The bottom. I feel like I'm always a cheater because I know that when you pull up from the bottom, you're supposed to like pull it up and it's supposed to be nice and even all the way down. Kind of like a pinch pot. It's harder to make the bottom like thin. So anyway, this is my cheater ways. I'll teach you guys. I just take my tool and I shape the bottom a little bit to match the inside shape. I don't know, maybe you're supposed to do it this way, maybe not. This is how I've always done it. So see how that gave it like a little bit of like form? It makes it look a little bit nicer. You just gotta be aware of how thick your bottom is. And so I'm just giving it like a tad bit, nothing too much. I mean, I've done more fancier shapes. Gives it a nice little bottom. And then all these pieces that we're pulling off here, that's not a lot of waste, but this can all go in the slip container. Yay, does that look good? Should we call it good? Okay, yeah, these can all go in the slip container. I'll show you how to pull this off though. Will somebody please hand me a wood board? Or no, wait, I'll just use this one from last year. Okay, to pull it off, we're going to spin our wheel kind of slowly. You're going to put your thumbs down and pull towards you. And it's kind of just like a quick, like that. And then you kind of want to, I don't want to say move quickly, but you don't want to let it sit there too long because it'll resuction, like it'll slip itself back on. And then the least amount of fingerprints as possible, the best. You want your board close by. So, picking it up towards the bottom, because the bottom is probably going to be thicker and more stable. And the least amount of fingerprints. Yay. So mine stayed pretty round. There's been times where I picked it up and it got like lopsided. You can either keep it lopsided or you can dent it a little bit more to make it look like funky. I've messed up and I've grabbed it and I was like, oh crap. And then I made like a little spout on the side. So I guess just go with it if it happens. Set this to the side. The only time you won't be able to take it off is if your clay is super duper soaked and it's super duper thin, and then I don't know, we'll figure it out, come see me. As far as cleaning this up, it's gonna take you longer than normal, probably like 10 minutes. You can scrape off the clay first. Yeah, this goes in the slip, you have to pull this off, rinse this, you have to pull this off. The least amount of clay going down the drain, the better. And then you'll rinse out your bucket, leave it dry, put your tools back in it, and there's a place behind my desk so they can be there for the next person. Okay? Sound good?
I like it. Can I keep it?
You want to keep it? Well, let's get it fired first. And we'll see. See? Will you turn it off, please?
I like that little spiral look. That spiral look.